Hey, it's Arash, host of Burner Podcast, founder of Justified Hype, photographer based in Southern California. So, a lot of my daily journaling work and practice, a lot of my meditative practice in regards to how I navigate friendships and relationships and communities and just kind of like how I show up in the world. Uh, in a good amount of it, I do spend time asking how I'm going through my decision making. How is an experience benefiting me? Is it benefiting me to an unfair level? Am I am I making decisions coming from a place of selfishness, or is it from a giving nature? What balance is there in that experience that's healthy? Because as a I imagine most of the people in my personal circles, and probably a lot like me, like, the first question that people usually ask is like, how can they help? Like, they want to be able to contribute something good to the world. Most of us do. But that experience of trying to contribute something good to the world can itself become toxic if we're doing it from a place of ego rather than from a truly giving nature. If it's just autopilot of, yeah, I like to help out, versus I need to do this thing so that I will look good in front of this community that I'm trying to impress. And I think that that's probably where some of that like toxic positivity stuff comes up, when, without meaning to, of course, we accidentally suppress somebody's need for personal expression in order to focus on the positive. And I myself am 1000% guilty of having done that on numerous occasions. Looking back on those experiences, I recognize that my motivations in various situations could have been coming from a different place. Like, for example, somebody shared with me a difficult experience they're having. This is just one example. This has happened many, many times. And my instinct was to too quickly, like, focus on the bright side. There were situations that may have been coming from my own desire to focus on the bright side because I was having a rough time. Or they may have been coming in situations where, and this is, I think, something I've personally experienced multiple times, where I feel like my overwhelming sense of responsibility to be a good leader has kicked in, and that turned into me not truly hearing what the other person was trying to share with me. And I would like to say that the overwhelming majority of the time, no, I do know 100% of the time, once I've caught it, I've gone back to that person and communicated the clarity that I got from that experience. If I haven't done that, if you've experienced something like that with me and I have not communicated it back to you, chances are that I have not recognized it. So I invite you to please do communicate with me if you had felt not heard in a situation. All that said, there is sort of no 100% right way of doing this. I'm sort of making peace with that now. We're never going to be 100% perfect. Uh, we're going to make mistakes. And we mostly mean really well. And I know I certainly do. And one of the things that I do, going back to that journaling practice and everything that I was mentioning at the beginning, one of the ways that I navigate how I'm showing up and if my intentions are as pure as they can possibly be, because the ego does play tricks. One of the things that I do is I look at how how honest I am willing to be about how certain interactions played out. And the way that I do that, it's a tool that I personally use, is I imagine that everybody can read my mind. So I have to be in a position to be able to defend myself if challenges have come up in regards to certain relationships or how I've shown up in community or in friendship or something. The question I ask is how, this is a question I ask myself as an exercise, like how comfortable am I telling the entire story of how a certain interaction played out? Every grimy detail, every part of how it happened. How comfortable do I feel sharing all of that detail? Will I need to apologize for parts of it? Am I going to have to exaggerate certain aspects of a certain interaction or a certain relationship in order to look better in front of people? Or, and this is generally the way that I personally strive to operate, can I just pretend like people can read my mind? I can just pour all of it out there and be very, very honest about how everything played out and all the decisions that I made and all the ways that I personally manipulated my own thought processes or how I might have been manipulative in a situation. Put all of the dirty laundry out there. Keep no secrets and no shame. And allow the other person to, or parties to, make their decisions about whether or not my intentions were pure. And so far, that's the best tool that I've discovered on how to show up well. Pretending like people can read my mind. I read in a blog post a little while ago, somebody said, liars don't heal. And I've had some struggles this past year about whether or not I'm being too rigid in my ethical structure, in how good I feel like we're supposed to be. One of my mantras has always been to walk the earth with an unshakable ethical compass. But of course, like a lot of experiences in the past year and during lockdown and everything have really like brought my attention and awareness to like, am I being too rigid? Is that rigidity holding me back from more success in my own personal life? And is that rigidity affecting my friendships and relationships? Because as romantic as that whole walk the earth with an unshakable compass, ethical compass is or feels to me, is that truly serving my ability to show up and spread light and see the light? Or is it creating walls and prisons around my brain and heart? It's not a black and white answer, that's for sure. That is the one thing that I've definitely learned. But I have developed some new tools. And one of those tools has been remembering that I've been using this other mantra, this other system to navigate the world with. And that has been pretend like everybody can read your mind. I can say that in some of the challenges that I've had in community and experiences in the past few years, I've always come back to that. And I've been like, look, I feel pretty much like, even if this particular scene in the movie is not going to make me look very good, I am 100% certain that if you watch the movie, you'll see that I was showing up in the best possible way that I could, and the instant that I caught any ways that I wasn't, I cut it off. And that's the way I'm navigating it. Who knows if that's the right way? None of these things are, science. It's just expressing thoughts and experiences. So, pretending like everybody can read my mind, that's my tool. And it makes it a lot easier to try to remember things. Just reference memory. And I know memory is shaky at best as far as reliability, don't get me wrong. But even when explaining myself, I guess, I could still go back to that same system. Pretend like everybody can read your mind. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. Love you all. Ciao.